Hi, Pat. It's Anthony. Can you test your mic, please? We're still waiting for two more before we start. Hi, Pat. Hi, Ramona. Hi, Patricia, it's Anthony. If you can test your mic.
Yeah, you had it muted. I couldn't talk to you. So
Okay.
I sent you email and
Okay.
made it.
You're
And
unmuted now.
you have to, and you also you have to unmute, undo the block video too.
Huh. Wait, try unblock your video right now.
I did more than once.
Wait, try it one more time.
Nope.
Hold on.
Hello?
Hi, James. We can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
good. Thank you.
James, is your video blocked? Oh, you don't know.
I'm
Mine is.
gonna turn it on.
I think you gotta get somebody to check, Anthony, because it's still not unblocking.
Wait, hold on.
Hi all, this is Madeline. So I apologize for that. We had assigned co-hosts to the committee members. So if you could please try again to start your video, you should be able to start. I do see James, I see your video's on. So if Patricia, you could try that again.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay, thank you. You bet.
Mine will not, maybe I'll sign off and sign on again. You think that'll work?
Yes, if you could try to log back on, Chair.
Okay, all right.
And Ramona, can you try unmute now? Okay, Pat, can you try unmute yourself?
Okay, I think that's
Okay, we can hear you.
okay. Here we are.
Can you try your video
Yeah,
now?
I have. It's okay now.
Okay, we got you. We're just waiting for Ramona to come back.
Okay, I just want to tell you something on the script that you sent me. Nobody's changed the name of the committee at the very, very top, the first line. So you need to change it to Statewide Elections Accessibility Needs Advisory Committee. It still says special needs. Not that that's a big deal, but just wanted to know.
Apologize, that was on old script that yeah, there was actually. Hi, Ramona, it's Anthony. Can you please unmute yourself and test your mic, please?
Yeah, we did unmute already. Oh dear.
Thank you, Ramona. With that, you do have 3, and you have a quorum.
Okay, I think we'll proceed. The meeting of the statewide election accessibility needs advisory committee is now called to order. Today's date is January 12th, and the time is 1:30. The meeting is being conducted by video conferencing and telephone. Committee members, please keep your camera on for the duration of the meeting. I will now take roll call. Ramona?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Catherine Kahn? Cheryl Nelson? James Gashel?
Here,
And I'm here. Pursuant to HRS 92-3.5, you are required to disclose if anyone is present with you for the meeting. Committee members, is anyone present with you for this meeting?
James
James?
Gashel, nobody's present
Okay, and there's no
except
one
me,
with me.
except me.
Okay. I hope you're present. And there's no one with,
Uh,
all right. Additionally, pursuant to HRS 92-3.7, we will be meeting remotely using interactive conference technology. As a reminder to the public, your microphone will be muted until you're called upon. With regard to public testimony, it will be taken after each agenda item. If you would like to testify, click raise your hand under reactions on Zoom. If you're joining us by phone, press *9. When recognized, unmute your microphone and for the record, state your first and last name and the items you will be testifying on. To ensure that we will have sufficient time to hear all testimony, each testifier will have 3 minutes to testify. Once your time has expired, you will be asked to conclude your remarks. As technical issues may arise, we will give each testifier a few minutes to try and resolve any connection issues. However, if the issues cannot be resolved, we will have to move on to the next testifier. The next item on our agenda is to approve the minutes for the November 14, 2023 meeting.
Gashel, I'm gonna move to approve the minutes.
Okay, and I second it, and I don't think there's any discussion, correct? So consider the amendments, the minutes adopted. The next item is, let's see. I have to go back to the agenda. I apologize. I have to get out of this item. And go to the, yeah?
We do have one hand raised, Scott Flaherty.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello,
Hi.
it's Cheryl Nelson.
Hi, it's Cheryl. I've been waiting for eons, and I had sent this number to Anthony, so I thought you guys would let me in, but nobody let me in.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're in now.
Yeah, good.
So yes, I approved the minutes.
No.
Okay, great.
Okay, wait, just to let you guys know, the video is not, it's not working. It's not.
Yeah,
We're,
I know. It's not working on, I mean, I can see my picture, but I cannot see anybody else. So I think the video is
Okay.
not, generally speaking. I think what should happen is we all log off again.
There we
I'm
go.
sorry about this.
Actually, Cheryl has been made co-host, and her name was actually someone else. That's why we didn't identify her. So
right,
But-
right, but just to let you know, I sent you, Anthony, I sent you the phone number that I was calling in.
yes, but it's showing as a name, not a phone number.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah. That's the challenge because it's showing up as a name, someone else's name, and it's not showing the number that you provided.
Oh, it didn't show up as the number. Okay, sorry, but I'm here now.
All right, all right, so now I'm gonna try and go to the agenda. So I can deal with, all right, we've done the call to order, roll call, approval of the minutes. The next item is report on the status of recommendations made by the Office of Elections by the committee, and I've read those, and I appreciate the detail. They go back several months. And I think, Anthony, I think it'd be great if you told everybody who hasn't read it about the letter you got from the office on whatever it's called, some kind of practice that oversees the Sunshine Law that inspired you all to do a detailed report on your recommendations. I mean, on your response to recommendations. Anthony, are you there?
Hi. So what I'm gonna do is provide the report, a brief report as follows. The Office of Elections and Enhanced Voting worked to complete a demo ballot. That demo ballot will be used to for voters to get familiarized and practice utilizing the enhanced voting product. In addition, the enhanced voting ballot demo will be posted to the Office of Elections website as well as the Election Accessibility Needs Advisory Committee's website. We will continue to provide additional updates in regards to the progress of the enhanced voting ballot system.
You don't want to summarize the rest of the stuff in your report?
So the other parts is actually the report that it's a running report of past reports, which James had requested to have a running report. So that was actually reported in the past.
Okay. Why don't you summarize for everybody who doesn't know about it, the letter that you received from that Office of Committee Practices or whatever, saying that they want more detail in our agenda items, so everybody knows about it.
Hi, Chair. This is Madeline. I'll go ahead and provide a summary of that letter from the Office of Information Practices. So the committee we received a letter that there was a public complaint that the agenda, specifically agenda item number 4, which is report on the status of recommendations made to the Office of Elections by the committee, may be insufficiently descriptive. In general, an agenda should be sufficiently detailed as to provide interested members of the public with enough information to determine whether they wish to participate in the meeting or provide testimony. The board cannot discuss, act on, or otherwise consider an issue being reported on if that issue is not described in sufficient detail on the agenda. So based on that, they felt that item number 4 didn't provide enough description for the public to be able to participate or provide comments. So if the committee would like to discuss any items regarding the report, it must be tabled for the next meeting.
Okay,
Gashel,
go ahead.
you know. It's, it's kind of comical. It's kind of comical, actually. It seems to me, now understand that I know what I'm saying doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot because we have to comply with the Office of Information Practices. And I'm indicating some frustration, but at the same time trying to think of a way to comply. And we do want to have a report every meeting from the staff as to the status of past recommendations. I don't know how we can word you don't want to maybe what you can do is append a not but a summary of a sentence or two of each item in the report to the agenda, make it part of the agenda so that the public would then see the areas that are in the report. And I would call this because every meeting we want progress report. There's no question about it. And so I would say a progress report on action to implement committee recommendations. Progress report on status of action to implement committee recommendations. Those are the words I would use. And then I would say, see summary attached. And attach a summary of that report. So it's indicated what subjects are the matter of. You don't want to attach the whole report, but I'd attach a quick summary. How does that sound?
That makes sense to me, because there's no way that, I mean, it would make item number 4 or whatever number it is in future agendas very long and complicated if you list 4 or 5 things for that and not 4 or 5 things for everything else. So I think that's a good idea.
I think, yeah. Let's I suggest we do that. We don't ask for permission. If they don't like it, we ask for forgiveness later on.
Right, right. That
You
makes
know?
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now,
Can you guys
Okay.
hear me?
yeah. Yes,
Oh, okay,
We-
it's Cheryl.
Hi.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing is the agenda is not supposed to, it's just an agenda. And so it only supposed to list the items, not go into detail. But why couldn't we say something like, for more information, contact, the office for any reports, or something like that? Because an agenda item, I don't think if we put 1 or 2 sentences, I don't think that's a big deal, but I don't think we should put more than that.
yeah.
But can we put something where we might say, for more,
We could say a summary will be included on the webpage, following the next meeting or something.
Well,
yeah,
that's Gashel, that is a good point. Do we actually do we report on web?
You're breaking up, Jim.
Yeah, my internet isn't real stable. Do we list that report on our website?
Yes,
Uh,
we do. It's included on the website as a meeting material link.
Okay, so maybe you just need an asterisk next to that one, or in parentheses, details available on, and list the website or web page or whatever.
Yes, I agree. Then we don't even have to do a summary.
Oh,
Then we
yeah.
just, I think Cheryl's idea is pretty good. We just cite the webpage.
Yep, yep, yep. 'Cause I just think that's really absurd. But I'm thinking maybe we need to take a look at the sunshine law and maybe suggest some changes because like we can't really do subcommittee work. If the number of subcommittee members, if we had a subcommittee, is more than 3 unless we go through some kind of convoluted process. And I think that we're small committees, that's a real disadvantage. So I think that's one of the things we need to think about and maybe resolve when we meet again in 2 weeks about how we're going to deal with recommendations to Senator Rose about amendments to the sunshine law. And I think any small committee would be happy with this, because I was talking to Donald, who's chair of the Honolulu committee yesterday, and because they had some issue that was, affected by the sunshine law that caused them not to be able to meet. And I really think that, the whole point of these committees is to bring about positive change, and you don't want these provisions in law to have unintended consequences.
Well, and I think that this is Cheryl again, the other thing is that I think that, none of us want to waste our time either and make it so cumbersome that you can't get anything accomplished because there's too many rules and regulations that get in our way when we're trying to volunteer our time to help out an agency.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Chair, I'd like to point out that we do have hands up testifiers. First person is Lisa Sakai Darcy.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? My camera is also not operational. I tried to turn my camera on and it's not allowing me. You cannot
I know.
start your video because the host has stopped it. Okay, and also your chat is has been disabled as well. So FYI, it's really nice to be here. And Ramona, I know you can't see me, but it's been so long since we saw each other. And I just want to say aloha. I'm calling from Maui. I'm the founder of Share Your Mana, and I am also a commissioner on the Maui County Healing Solutions for Homelessness. I have been working with individuals who are differently able to have disabilities and are absolutely going for it to participate in their community, and wanted to give testimony on item 4. Your dialogue regarding the information on agenda item 4 was hard to ascertain what you were particularly going to be speaking about. That said, if there is a report and it can be attached, the link can be attached. Next time, I'd really appreciate that. You could just attach it under where it says report on the status, and then you can attach the link. Then I could read exactly where you're at. So I'm not sure exactly where you're at, but I just wanted to let you know that Share Your Mana worked with an attorney in 2020 to improve the accessibility for those with disabilities and those who are living unhoused in Maui County. And one of the clear recommendations we made, there were several recommendations. One is if you don't have an address or you are unable to get your primary or you can't vote in your primary or you have to choose between the primary and the general. Nobody should have to vote or choose between voting. They should be able to have access to vote. And the other one is we're very clear that in Maui County, the people who live in Hana cannot get to Wailuku. And if they have to walk and vote because they can only use their ID and they didn't get their ballot. And so we made clear recommendations to our Office of Elections to open more centers. And they did not respond with any support. And this is still an issue. We also made a recommendation that the buses would be free on election day so that there would not be a financial disadvantage for anybody, because a lot of people with disabilities, as we know, are on very strict financial budgets. I'd love it if any of the stuff that I'm talking about would be able to get any traction or support from this group. And I didn't even know you existed, so it's really wonderful to know that you're there, and I really appreciate you meeting. Yeah, and if you have any questions, I am certainly here and available.
Well, I appreciate your bringing this information to our attention, and we will maybe reach out to the Maui County election people to see what they can do for the upcoming election in the primary and also the general election in November to do the things you suggest. And if you could send me your email.
Okay, how would you like me to do that?
All right, my email is really easy, lowercase PATMOR at AOL.com. And I will, I'll let you know what we find out.
Gashel here.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. Well, I know my internet connection isn't too stable, so I hope you're getting what I have to say. I really appreciate Lisa's comments and specific recommendations. I assume these will be recorded in our minutes so we can refer to them as action items. I'm well, first of all, Lisa should that Mountie should have and does not have, to my knowledge, a Voters with Accessibility Needs County Advisory Committee. That's a comparable committee to this. And, all of us need help in those county on all of our neighbor islands. So just know that, and you might want to look into that with your Office of Elections for Maui County. But the other point, one thing that was very attractive in
Jim, you're all broken.
and it's
broken up.
certainly
Jim, we missed half
to
of what you
do with
can you call back on phone?
maybe I might need to do that. I'll call back in on the phone.
Okay, good. Thanks.
This is Cheryl. Can I add something?
Yeah.
I was going to say that I appreciate what Lisa had to say also. And I just want to make sure that we all understand that Office of Elections is Office of Elections. Transportation, we need to, that needs to be dealt with through probably a different vehicle, not through Office of Elections, because that's a transportation issue, which is, yes, I understand the interface, but it's not an Office of Elections, something they can necessarily do anything about or have budgeted for So I think we need to be clear that those are likely separate issues.
Well, I think that what I would hope would happen is that the Office of Elections in Maui County would talk to the transportation people at the state level or at the local level and say, guys, this is the problem we have, and we want to increase the ability of people with disabilities to vote if they choose to go in person. And so, you know, can you make this happen? So,
Right.
you know, they're the advocate for the change. They're not responsible for the change, but they at least make the effort to make it happen.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just
Yeah, I think,
Um,
no, we understand. I mean, I understand that, but the issue is we're not talking about $1 zillion. And
Right.
if they want to control how many people have the option of doing that, they could set up some kind of mechanism where people would, you know, have to get some kind of card or voucher or something that would allow them to go for free because they were going to vote and back, you know. But you know, the time to work on that is now, not in
not the
October.
day before, right?
Right.
Chair,
So
sorry, I have to interject. It looks like we're having a discussion on the agenda item number 4, and just a reminder, we could table the discussion to the next meeting. You could put a discussion for the item at the subsequent meeting for this. We do have 2 other hands raised.
We're talking-
Brian
wait.
Hauser.
we're talking about an item that came up today. I don't notice it being on the agenda.
I think the testifier was referencing agenda item number 4.
Well, I think she did that generally, talking about recommendations, and then she talked about problems that she has in Maui that she would like us to help her with. So that's a different thing. She talked about 2 things. She talked about item number 4, and then she brought out problems in Maui, and that are not on that agenda, on that item number 4 summary at all. So let's not overreact here. But I think we're finished with it anyway, so
We do
Lisa-
have 2 other testifiers, Chair.
okay,
Brian Hauser.
okay, Brian,
Aloha, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, aloha, Cheryl. I haven't seen you in a while. There wasn't a chance for testifiers up front. I want to testify on item number 5. Is that okay, corporate counsel or whoever's? I don't know what the protocol under procedures is. Am I allowed to testify on item number 5 is my question.
Chair, so we do have 1 more testifier. We could take that testifier and then you could move on to the next agenda in which Mr. Hauser could testify at that time.
Mahalo.
okay,
Next testifier is Donald Sakamoto.
Donald, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me, Chair, everybody?
Yep,
Okay, Donald Sakamoto, I'm the Honolulu County Chair for Elections Accessibility Needs Advisory Committee. I've been attending these meetings for a long time, and Chair and everybody, I try to do my county needs committee last month, but I got hit by OIP also with my agenda, and I also attend other meeting agendas for the city, and they got hit by the same agency for insufficient information on their agenda. But it's good that you have dialogue on this and had discussion on how to continue on with your agenda items in a proper way to comply with sunshine law and everything. But that's a good idea to have items, to have something where you can go and look what to be discussed. That's very important. City Council does that too on bills. They have agenda item listed, and then they have a link where you can go to the bill and read about it. So that's really good. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I think we go to item number 5. Brian, go ahead.
So many buttons to press. Aloha, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Hauser. I am an advocacy coordinator for Aloha Independent Living Hawaii. I'm located on Maui. I did not know how to become a member of this committee. I don't know what the procedure for that was or is. So I'd like somebody to be able to respond to that. And then the item number is, let me see, I'm dyslexic, so it's a little difficult. Could somebody read item number 5 for me? If anybody has that handy, maybe Lisa or somebody could help me with that.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. This is Pat. It's general discussion on issues for voters with disabilities. So it's really open-ended. You can talk about anything you want.
Okay, great. Okay, that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, so, I'm going to bring up some of the same issues. I want to qualify by saying that I myself am an individual with a disability. I have a print disability, and I rely on voting machines to read me those, not only the names, but those very complex questions that they ask at the end of the things that you vote on. And I need to have that read to me several times. So I rely on voting sites, and I don't understand why this body doesn't have the authority to request of the Board of Elections that there be more polling sites all over Maui. It's not only a transportation issue, it's also that there aren't polling sites. And I, as a taxpayer, would like to know, when the government is saving so much money by not having polling sites and polling workers, why can't they pay for polling sites and machines so that it's accessible to people such as myself with disabilities? So that's my question on that, about more polling sites. I'm sure it's an issue on other islands. We're just representing Maui, but I'm sure the more accessible polling sites, the better it is. And I want to say 2 other things, one very quickly. The first is that it's my understanding that Zoom meetings are in place of meeting in person. And I rely on seeing people. And I got dressed up to testify at this meeting, and I would appreciate being seen. So the next time I would ask as an accommodation that I'm allowed to turn on my camera when I testify. Mahalo.
Well,
Happy
Brian-
Aloha Friday to you all.
Brian, you should be able to be, I don't know why your video is not working. Initially, mine wasn't working either. So maybe between now and the next meeting, that issue will be resolved. So that's a incidental problem, not something that happens every time. On the issue of the complicated items at the end of the ballot, we want to focus on that and make sure that they are read in clear, direct, simple words. And I'm hoping that the next meeting we can have somebody who usually drafts charter amendments, I think that's what they're called, to come and talk to us about the process for at least Oahu County or Honolulu County. And then maybe have somebody else in March to talk about one or two other counties. Because we want to make, all of us on the committee are willing to help them make sure that they're written in English. In my experience, they appear to be a lot of use of double negatives that actually are affirmatives in a lot of these charter amendments, and I don't want to see that happen in the future. So that's my answer to that one. With regard to the more polling places, that's a big issue. I think that one of the things that had occurred to me is that I am very comfortable and appreciate the fact that we can vote by mail, and I'm sure that many people with disabilities feel the same way. But that does not solve the problem of you having a clear understanding of the charter amendments. But two things occur to me. We could have some kind of, for lack of a better term, volunteer corps that would be available to help people read and understand a ballot before they mail in their ballot. And the other thing is to have a ballot put in audio form and made available to people. Well, I promise you, we'll look into those two things and see whether or not we can about. Because everybody should have an equal opportunity to vote. I agree with all that. Thank you very much, Armando.
Chair, the next testifier is Lisa Sakai Darcy.
Okay, Lisa. Can you turn on the video permission? I think, Netaline. So
Yes,
people,
we've been trying to work on that on our end, Chair. I apologize for that.
Okay, I actually just got unmuted, so mahalo again for unmuting me. Aloha again, committee. My name is Lisa Darcy. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify on agenda item number 5. And one of the pieces I would also like to share with this committee is I personally have assisted dozens of people who have pretty severe disabilities, many mental health disabilities, to actually go and vote even for the first time. This experience, if they did not have myself as a guide to go in with them, they would have never done it. And there have been times when I have accompanied people, and if the line is long, their anxiety is such that they leave. And I believe that it is possible to have a designated line for individuals who have any anxiety or disability, that maybe they could have a quieter, a specific line for them, because I have been many times when people have been turned away or went away because they didn't have the energy to stand for an hour, or they just became overwhelmed. So that is another piece of the actual process that gets very much overlooked for individuals who have mental health disabilities. And I know that they're not often going to speak up about that. And like I said, I have documented and witnessed people being turned away because they don't have the physical or emotional capacity to wait an hour or two in line. And to be able to take that information forward is really important in terms of engaging people who are really kind of shy to participate in this process. So thank you again for your time and your energy.
thank you, Lisa. Okay, thank you, Armando. I'm glad you're back with us.
Chair, the next testifier is Donald Sakamoto.
Okay, Donald. I think you have him unmuted.
Hear me now?
Yes? You there? I heard you say, hear me.
Yeah, me too.
Can you hear me now?
Yes?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody. Again, Donald Sakamoto, the Chair of Honolulu Needs Elections Committee. My concern is with people who are deaf and blind. I have some people that are, I know at least of one that's deaf and blind. How can they be accommodated at a voter center to use an access machine if they can't hear or see? And then I know one particular person on the Big Island. She has no hands, no arms, but she has to use a stylus to put her mouth to touch the screen. That can be. She's a perfectionist in that, but it may be a challenge for other people that never have done that before. So that's another issue for those with special needs that might need help. But again, voter centers is very important. I deal with transportation. Jim Gasher and I, as well as the National Federation of Blind, sit on the Deaf Blind Task Force for the Senate committee, and we're trying to get a bill passed for better transportation in neighbor islands. So hopefully we can get that passed this year and have them give better quality, fair transportation for everyone, elderly and disabled. But it's great that you have this meeting. I wish we have more people from the different counties that have county committees like yourself and myself to come on and give their input. But maybe in future meetings we can outreach to them and have them come. But thank you for allowing me to speak.
You're welcome.
Gashel, can you hear me now?
Yes?
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I think this is great to have heard from the folks from Maui County. And what I was trying to say before was the law provides for each county to have a voters with accessibility needs advisory committee. To my knowledge, I think this is so, Maui County doesn't have one yet, but should. So maybe you guys from Maui County would want to work on, and perhaps we can join in the effort to get that county committee established. Every county should have a committee. This is the statewide committee. Donald Sakamoto, who just testified, is chair of the City and County of Honolulu Voters with Accessibility Needs Advisory Committee, but the other counties should have a similar committee. I wanted to say before, we've had some specific recommendations, which I think I'm saying this correctly, the staff will reflect in the minutes of this meeting, and we can pay attention to those and figure out ways of addressing those recommendations in the future, because this is our purpose, to receive and consider and pass through those recommendations. We may change them in certain ways, but they are valued in that they are offered to us and they address accessibility needs, that's for sure. Lisa mentioned before the proposition of having free bus service on days of elections. I think this is a terrific idea. And I don't know how I think it's something I just wanted to underscore that the committee should pay some attention to this in the future. With regard to Mr. Sakamoto's comments on people who are deafblind, I believe that the voting process that we had demonstrated at the November meeting that enhanced voting systems is working on will provide a means of Braille access to the process. And because by way of computer, either a Braille display connected to your mobile device or another computer, you could interact with and make the choices using a braille display. So I wanted to mention that, and to the staff to be sure that I think this will be the case anyway, but we need to confirm that their design will be compatible with using braille displays with the interface. I think it should be. What I've seen of it so far, it looks to me that it will be, but we need to verify that. It certainly is a very good possibility and not a big stretch to make that happen. Now, some voters, this is my final comment on this, but some voters may still need the assistance of another person in casting a ballot. That's law. That's federal law. And it has existed since 1982 everywhere in the United States. And it's true for us as much as anywhere else. So the voter has a right to the assistance of another person, except the person can't be the voter's union representative or employer. And other than that, a friend or a family member is certainly allowed to assist the voter. There is no reason why a person with a disability should not be able to cast a vote, either with assistance or with the technology that we are developing.
Thank you, Jim. I have a question for the Office of Elections. Is there any way that the guys that are dealing with making your voting process totally accessible, able to put an audio component in it as well?
When you're talking about an audio component,
Like actually
when they
read out loud what is on the ballot.
so when they go into a voter service center, that is correct. There is an audio ballot that is available at a voter service center. In addition, when a person does use the accessible electronic ballot, it is compatible with accessible technology, and that part, they can utilize their own accessible technology.
I understand that, but the what I'm talking about is having an audio component included with the electronic option.
Yeah, sure.
Hi there, Jim.
Yeah, I could say, I think what Anthony was trying to say is, first of all, in using in voting electronically, the screen reader that a person uses is audio. Now, it may be possible to have some other kind of audio file. I'm not sure why you would need one.
I'm not thinking about people that can't see. I'm thinking about the example that Brian gave, that he needs to read and hear and rehear text before he fully understands it. So he would not have a screen reader. He has a learning disability. He can't read print material.
Now, yeah. Now, a lot of people with disabilities, with learning disabilities, people who are dyslexic, for example, often use screen readers, and there are free screen readers available. One's called NVDA, and that presents an audio version of the file. So they're really, you know, we could take this discussion offline for sure and explore it. Something like the file that the machines at the voter service centers might play, might be a possibility to work into the electronic. I don't know, but
Oh,
our
what,
testifiers should consider the possibility of using the NVDA screen reader. It runs on any computer, and many people who are dyslexic use those.
okay. Another thing I thought about, is that why not have somebody just make an audio tape of the ballot? And that audio file could then be made available to somebody who had listened to it 100 times if they wanted to before they voted. I mean,
The-
I'm not talking about anything complicated. I mean, a ballot.
Right.
So, and then, you know, the person who would listen to the audio file would probably have to do some kind of notation or memorization of what they heard. But that's another way of increasing the general accessibility of the ballot.
Yeah, there could be an audio version of the ballot done. Now you'd need to, one thing that the office is going to talk to us about, I'm sure, is everybody has a somewhat different ballot depending on where you live. You might have Jill Takuto or you might have Ed Case. So, you know, you got to coordinate the audio ballot with where the person lives.
Right, but we're not talking about 15,000 different kinds of ballots. We're talking about maybe a total of what, 5 or 10?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That is a good question. Yeah, you know, because you have school, you have different board members for different, I don't know. Can anybody at the Office of Elections tell us how many distinct ballots there are?
I believe we have over 200. I don't have the exact number, but over 200 ballot types.
Well, again, this gets back to my volunteer corps idea. You know, you had people in different communities just making
Mhm.
an audio of a particular ballot and then have some way of making that available to people. Just as a reference point. It's not an official document. It's just, you know, it's like an aid to help them make decisions about who they're going to vote for.
I think probably a single document could be created, which might incorporate most or all of the options, at least for the purposes of information.
Right. That's all I'm talking about. Nothing like legal or official, like, you know.
Chair, we have another testifier, Brian Hauser.
Okay, Brian?
Okay, I just want to mahalo everybody on this call. Yeah, having a you know, a number that I could call and hear my local ballot questions, I would be calling that number a few times until I totally understood what I was listening to or what I was being asked. And I just want to make you know, there's no way, if I wanted to request that if I could be on the listserv for this meeting. I did get this information from Rowena from Maui County Office on Aging. Yes, we are trying to put together a county advisory committee on elections, and we would very much appreciate any assistance from you. And I know Donald, who I know from Silk, but I don't have your email address, Donald, and the chat is disabled. So I would ask if somebody could take down my email address and email me when the next meeting is, I work for a center on independent living that serves the neighbor islands. I'm happy to reach out to, we have a person on Kauai who with a disability. We have people on Big Island, on Molokai, on Lanai. We also provide services. So I'd be happy to bring people from different islands onto this meeting if they were invited. And I just want to say that it's so wonderful to me to see people with disabilities and advocates for disabilities having a voice in election accessibility. And I really appreciate being able to testify at this meeting.
Okay,
Mahalo.
well,
nui.
thank you,
Brian, this is Anthony.
Yes, Anthony.
Chair, sorry, this is Anthony. Brian, I have your email and I can make a note to add you to the list to receive the agenda.
Okay, mahalo nui loa. Thank you, Anthony. Happy Aloha Friday, everyone.
Same to you.
Chair,
Okay,
the testifier is Donald Sakamoto.
Donald,
Yes, can you hear me now?
yes,
Yes, Chair. I think that what Brian said and what was discussed by James Gasho to have a phone thing where you can call in and listen to how the ballot is set up, as well as having different languages where you can hit number 3, number 4, number 5, or whatever language you want to hear. So it's easy for those who have different languages they only speak besides English. But yeah, that's a good way of doing it, and I appreciate you folks having this discussion. Thank you.
thank you.
Gashel.
Yes,
I have a question to the staff. I believe this next election cycle that we're getting into will be that there will be a brochure with information about each of the candidates available that's being prepared, or at least will be available from the Office of Elections. Am I correct in that?
That's correct.
Okay, and of course that will be is required by state law to be an accessible brochure, meaning they should be able to get at it. One thing that should be done for accessibility should be that brochure could be recorded, and it could be put onto a telephone system or something so people could get at it. We don't want to lose track of that as a possibility. That's what I'm getting to.
well, you could also put the audio to the website, and
Yeah. Yes,
Done.
you could.
so, I mean, it's not like it
But-
has to be
but-
complicated.
This brochure will have much of the information that our testifier was I didn't get his name, but was asking about. It will have, I don't know if it'll have everything that he's gonna need. I haven't seen the brochure yet, but that's the idea of it by law, is to provide information for voters, so when they get their ballot, they'll know how they want to vote.
Yeah,
Well,
Looks like-
this is Cheryl. I'm sorry.
go ahead,
Can I go
Cheryl.
ahead?
Yes,
I was gonna say, I think it's really important too, that we keep in mind, that a lot of, I hate to say it because I'm a senior now, but a lot of seniors or a lot of people, whether it's financially or whatever, may not have access to computer or internet. So I think having a phone option where like you press 1 for Spanish and 6 for Japanese or whatever language, that to have the brochures, that's a good idea too.
yes, I agree with you.
In other words, some low tech options versus just the internet.
Well, part of that, or any of this, is we gotta advertise it, because then you won't know it exists. So I think
Correct.
there's gonna be some public service announcements that talk about accessibility, starting in the near future.
That all of this can definitely be done. We don't want to lose track of it. It can definitely be done.
Yeah, good, good. Well, I think, are there any more hands raised? Natalie?
No more testifiers, Chair.
Okay. Does anybody on the committee have anything they'd like to add or share? All right, the only thing I want to mention is that I hope that I can work with Anthony and Netaline to get somebody from Honolulu City and County charter writing department to be on our next call to talk about the process they use to write these charter amendments. And because we really got to deal with this, and we got to deal with that later. And I also think we need to revisit some of these things and talk about in detail about what we actually are going to do to make them happen. And the last thing is that just as an FYI, Jim and I, and possibly Senator Rose, are going to be on the PAC-REM panel talking about our committee on either February 27th or hopefully 28th. And so I'll be able to give you all an update on that in March. I think we have to stick to the schedule we said we want to set, like the first Tuesday and every month at 1:30 between now and the elections. And even if Anthony and Netaline can't do it on one of the days closer to the election, we're going to keep going because we have to keep meeting. Last time, we had a 3-month or 4-month hiatus, and the justification was the elections. But we're not going to do that this year. We're going to meet every month through the election, one way or the other. Even if we have to use, my Zoom account, and I assume I know how to set it up to work. But anyway, take that, you sunshine people. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
I think we can make a motion to adjourn at this point. I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it. I'll
Okay.
second it.
Good, good. And so I'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Who you listening to?